Yes, hello and welcome back to the Kop TV for yet another match preview. This time it's Chelsea. Chelsea are coming to Anfield on Wednesday to see if they can try and ruin the party, the very, very special trophy lift party that we've all got planned to happen in the Kop on Wednesday night. To discuss this game with me, a very knowledgeable Chelsea fan, I should say. It's Amy Christophers, aka That Sports Spice, also a very good mate of mine. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. It hasn't been, it's been quite a long time since we've seen each other, but obviously we've been keeping in touch throughout lockdown. And of course, the Chelsea match at Anfield is on the way on Wednesday. So listen, for people that might not already know, you're obviously a huge Chelsea fan. Your dog is called Didier, which we'll get into a little bit later on. But for those people that do not know, when did your passion for Chelsea kind of kick off, if you pardon the pun?
So I support Chelsea because my dad's best friend supports Chelsea, and growing up I was never allowed to watch Chelsea play in my house because my dad just hates Chelsea, like literally he hates them. So he's an Everton fan.
Ooh,
but he used to be a Leeds fan actually, so I'm winding him up at the moment. Basically he stopped supporting Leeds when they got rid of Billy Bremner. And I was actually going to be called Billy after Billy Bremner, but my mum put her foot down. That wasn't happening. And I'm kind of gutted about that now, because how cool would it have been to be named after Billy Bremner? But anyway, I digress. So now I'm like fully winding my dad up, being like, oh, now they're back in the Prem, you're going to start supporting them and whatever. So he's just literally like hates me right now.
Yeah, Leeds and Everton. Long time since they've both been successful. That's fair and it's factual. So what age would you start supporting Chelsea then, would you say?
So I had to go around to my dad's best mates, like, so you know, growing up you're like cousins and all of this, but it's like you call him your uncle, but dad's best mate. So it's sort of one of those ones. So I used to be like, oh, I'm just popping over to CJ's to watch the game and like things like that. And then when I was 18 I started running a nightclub, and I was like, right, we're going to open up in the daytime, we're going to have a big projector and we're going to play all of the matches. And they're like, oh, okay, what matches are we going to play? I was like, absolutely every single Chelsea game. And they were like, okay. So then all of my bar staff and stuff sort of became like these honorary Chelsea supporters and stuff. So it was really nice. And then I was going up to London a lot because of my glamour modelling, but I hadn't officially moved up there yet. So I think it was like 2009 that I officially moved up, and I was like just so excited that I could finally go to like one of my first games, and it just so happened that it was like Chelsea were doing pretty well at the time.
Yeah, so this was what, 2010, I'd say.
2009.
Yeah.
2010 season, yeah.
And I mean, we can talk about your greatest kind of memory now. You mentioned earlier before we came on that you started going to the Chelsea games when you came to London.
Yeah.
And one of those matches was your greatest memory.
Yeah, so obviously I was watching Didier on the screen and all of this, like when I was back in Falmouth, and then to actually be there. And so the end of 2009-2010 season, we did the double. It was just incredible. And then I was like so excited to go to the opening, like the first home game at Stamford Bridge. And it was just unbelievable scenes. Hat-trick from Didier. And then it was 6-0, I think the end of score was. Yeah, it was 6-0 against West Brom. And I was just like, oh my God, I've actually seen this happen in the flesh now. And it was just, yeah, unreal. And I got very, very drunk afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we don't advertise people getting drunk unless you're over 18 and drink responsibly, of course, all the time.
Guys.
There you go, buddy. Yeah, bit of water. Yeah, I mean, the same for me. I remember watching the boys on the TV as a really young kid. And then when you see them in real life, it's a feeling that you can't really describe. It's when you're walking up those steps and you see the light and you see the grass as well. I think that's a key memory for me. But listen, we've obviously got a game to discuss coming up on Wednesday. Chelsea come to Anfield, and like I said, it's going to be a great night for Liverpool. I'm actually going up on Wednesday. I'm staying over, and I'm going to be around the ground on Wednesday night. There's going to be, I'm guessing, a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to it. In terms of the game itself, so coming into this game, Chelsea, the last 6, you've won 4. and lost 2, weirdly, to West Ham and Sheffield United. I mean,
West Ham one really hurts. Really hurts.
I think as well, it was the first game you announced that you were sponsored by 3 as well. So it's just banter galore.
Don't even go there. Don't go there.
It was banter galore. So
it's a blessing and a curse.
It is a blessing and a curse. But I mean, better form than Liverpool, to be honest, in the last 6 games. As we all know, Liverpool have kind of fallen off a little bit in the last couple of weeks. Chelsea obviously won at the weekend. So coming into this game, you're going to be on a high. I mean, how do you see it panning out? Because I don't think you've actually won at Anfield in the league since that Gerrard slip moment that we never like to mention on this channel.
Oh, but we like to.
Yeah, but you're on my channel now, Amy, love. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Know your audience.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think going into it?
So, okay. I personally, and like you're going to expect me to disagree with you and all of that sort of thing, but personally for me, it's at Anfield. You guys are going to be picking up your trophy that night. So for me personally, I just think Liverpool have to win it because you need to save face. You can't be picking up your trophy and lose at home. So I think Liverpool are going to give it their absolute all. I mean, Chelsea, we do need the win. So I don't think we're going to, just roll over for you. But I have I have a feeling that you are going to win it.
Yeah, it's a tough one because at Anfield this season, the only team that we have actually dropped points against, and it was in our last game there, was Burnley. And no one thought that at all. By the way, guys, if you are watching, please like and comment to the video, share the stream as well. Kop TV, of course, the voice of football's most famous stand. But going back into my preview. So, I mean, last season, we all know what happened. You came and Salah scores 2 great goals, or 1 great goal and a Mane goal, I think. But that was a tough game, and I am expecting another.
Oh, you're muted.
And we're off mute again. Chelsea do always come with a strong team at Anfield. We've seen over the years Hazard really tear it up at Anfield in the League Cup especially. For me, 50% of me thinks the lads are already so up for this. And like you said, they don't want to lose face and win the trophy with a loss to their name, especially at Anfield. And then the other 50% of me thinks they've already done everything they needed to do. I hope they don't take the foot off the gas for this one and allow Chelsea chances. Because as you've seen, Amy, Liverpool have given away chances in the last few weeks, and we've definitely been punished. You look at Arsenal, 2 big mistakes, 2 goals for them.
I just think you're going to do it though. But maybe it might be a draw. I don't know. But I do think that you are going to give it your all and win it. But I don't think, as I said before, we're not going to go down without a fight. I think it could be a high scoreline, to be honest.
Yeah, there's always
especially with our defence at the moment.
Yeah, so talking about your defence, and these are facts, by the way, Amy. This isn't me having to go at Chelsea, so don't get offended.
Okay.
But the Chelsea defence ranks 11th in the Premier League this season in terms of goals conceded. That's lower than Burnley and Crystal Palace. 14th in clean sheets, keeping only 8 this season, which for a keeper like Kepa is unbelievable for the amount of money. And that's actually less than Newcastle, Southampton and Watford. I mean, you're currently
49 goals we've conceded, isn't it?
And you know what? Liverpool conceded, I think it was 50 goals the season of the Gerrard slip. But we scored 100 goals. So it was fine. That season, we kind of, if you score 1, we'll get 2. If you get 2, we'll get 3. Chelsea currently 3rd in the league, 63 points. If United lose to West Ham during the week, you are guaranteed Champions League football next season. I think Leicester obviously lost to Tottenham, so that took them away from you even more. But, I mean, it looks like you're going to get Champions League. At the start of the season, Amy, would you have taken that?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. I mean, at the start of the season, I remember saying, like, look, I'll be happy if we're still, like, mid-table or whatever, because going into it, and I had to actually remind myself of this the other day, that it is actually still Frank's first season, because obviously with lockdown and everything, it's like, it feels like it's been, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, no, we are still in this first season. And I was like, well, we are doing exceptionally well, and especially with those facts that you just said about our defence and stuff, like, it's incredible that we've made 3rd. So, well, it's not over yet, obviously, but yeah, so I'm just really happy with the way that things are. And I know that there's quite a lot of Chelsea fans that are complaining about Kepa and, you know, all the slip-ups and things like that. But I think that we are doing well. And I'm really glad, actually, that it was Caballero that was in goal and not Kepa for the FA Cup, because I think it might have been a different story there. But yeah, I think how we played yesterday was incredible. And if we can bring that momentum into this game against you guys, I think that would be really good. And I think we found a winning formula there, because with the defence, we've tried different systems, we've tried different players and things like that, and it didn't really seem to like click. But yesterday, like, some magic just happened, and I was there for it.
Yeah, I mean, that magic was essentially De Gea letting in 2 soft goals that set you up to win the game.
Yeah.
I found this tweet earlier, Amy, and I wanted to read it to you. It says, "Call me a bluff old traditionalist, but if my team, Chelsea, had Kepa in goal and had conceded 68 goals in all comps, 49 in the league, plus had the worst set-piece record in the division, my first 3 signings would not be Ziyech, Werner and Havertz." They're talking about 80 mil confirmed for Havertz.
Yeah, I've seen that today.
Surely all this money.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. So with him coming in, 80 million is a lot of money. And with him coming in, it's like, who's he going to replace? I have a feeling it's going to be Kante. And this whole thing with like Kante not playing at the moment, he's got a niggle. I'm like, are they just saving him because they want to sell him on? And it's like, we paid 32 million for him. And I had a quick Google earlier to see what his value is now. And it's 15 million. And I still think that there is a lot of life left in Kante. Personally, I think he's done wonderful things for Chelsea, and I will be really sad to see him go. But at the same time, you know, Marina's always doing really good business for Chelsea. So if they are trying to sell him, then there's obviously a good reason for it, to them bring in new players and get some money. But I just think, how can his value decrease that much?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have Kante at Liverpool. I think he's a great player. Yeah. I think he's just touched the 30 mark. But I mean, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm looking at this money being splashed around. I mean, you already got Ziyech earlier in the year before COVID, I think. Obviously spent very big on Werner, who we were trying to get. Thanks for that. And Havertz, 80 mil. I mean, if you add those up, you're looking at around the 200 million mark without buying a defender, which is clearly, as the stats clearly say, is needed. You need a defender. And I think...
Thing is, like, we've got so many good midfielders. Like, I just don't think we really need to get any more in. And it's like, that just seems to be the place that we like to have, like, our best players. And yeah, definitely we need to be looking at the defence. But I mean, like, Kepa's had 2 seasons now, and he has got worse this season. And the amount of money that we paid for him, like, that's just really not good enough. So, I don't know, but then it's like, well, what goalies are on the market? I mean, personally, Nick Pope, I think he would be a good fit at Chelsea. I think then there's also Atletico Madrid, Jan Oblak. I think he could be good. He's young as well. So, well, 27 still young, isn't it?
Yeah,
young compared to me. So, you what?
For a keeper, definitely. That's still, I mean, you don't really get into your prime, I would say, until 28, 29 as a keeper. And then they play, as you know, to the late 30s. A little bit of a troll here, I think. We've got Craze Amnesty. Would love to beat Chelsea and ruin their chances of the top 4. He also says, Roman Abramovich ruined football. Then he says, how did you feel when Abraham missed that pen in the UEFA Super Cup? Obviously, joking about when we beat you in the Super Cup this year. And do you remember Luis Garcia? I mean, these are all great trolls. I'm not going to lie.
Is Luis Garcia, the same guy?
It is. This guy is a regular on the show. He says, do you remember Luis Garcia? Obviously joking about the ghost goal. In defence of Chelsea, though, I was at the FA Cup game at the Bridge earlier on in the season. Liverpool really wasteful in that game. And you kind of put us away 2-0, I think it was. At the time, I think Billy Gilmore had a great game. I think he's injured now for the rest of the season. In terms of a starting 11 tomorrow. How do we see that one panning out?
Okay, so I've done my starting
Lovely.
11.
Very prepared. Love it.
So Kepa in goal, just because he was rested, so I reckon he'll probably play him. Azpilicueta, Alonso, and Rudiger.
Yeah, as a back three.
Yeah, Zuma, Kovacic. I can't ever say his name.
Kovacic, yeah.
Jorginho, Mount. Now I don't know because he might swap that around and put Barkley in, but I don't think he will. I think because Mount scored, I think he'll keep him in. I would like to see Ruben back in though.
Yeah, he came on yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, so maybe that's a possibility. But I think he'll probably stick with Willian. Pulisic, he's hoping to be back from injury now because Frank said he wants him in the last games. And I have to go with Giroud.
Giroud up top. So you're missing out, big names there. Tammy's not in the team there. I mean, Billy Gilmore's injured. I don't think he would have started this one, but you're also not playing Pedro. Chelsea have always had a strong bench. I think that's how you've lasted really this season. You've managed to bring in a lot of players from the bench and promote them from the youth, which Chelsea don't traditionally do. But Frank's obviously had this transfer ban to deal with, and I think he's played his best cards with what he was dealt with really this season. Scores on board says Liverpool 3-1. I mean, my personal prediction for this game is 3-1, funnily enough. I do think we'll score.
Because subconsciously, the 3 as a sponsorship, because I think that is actually doing a lot. It's doing damage, but it's also helping us because it's either like we're conceding 3 or scoring 3.
Well, as you know, Amy, exactly. As you know, I already have a little partnership with 3, so I wouldn't dare.
You do. I know. I was thinking this.
And you were on my show on that, so I wouldn't possibly go into that. But in terms of 11 for me, in the midfield, obviously Henderson's still injured. I think he is still going to lift the trophy. He's not that injured to lift the trophy. Let's have it right.
Yeah.
But in goal, Alisson, Trent, Virgil, Gomez, and Robbo. That's just the back 5. It's like a default that I go for every week. I'm going to go with Keita, Wijnaldum, and Fabinho in the middle. I think there's been a lot of unfair criticism of Wijnaldum recently, which I really want to stamp out the club. Let's not forget this man scored potentially 2 of the most important Liverpool goals in recent history with those 2 goals against Barcelona for the 4-0 win. So let's start respecting Gini Wijnaldum, please, guys, at the Kop TV. I'm not saying that you guys are part of the problem. There's a very small minority of Liverpool fans on Twitter who maybe don't appreciate Gini to the max. Any club would have him, trust me.
He's the footballer that took that girl to Nando's on a date, isn't he?
Who, Wijnaldum?
Is that him?
I'm not sure. I think he's got wife and kids, Amy. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't want Ginny doing that. And then I'm going to go with Mo, Bobby, and Mane up top. Now, still to this day, this season, Bobby Firmino hasn't scored a home goal in the league this season. He's got one more final chance to do that this week against Chelsea. For me, Amy, Firmino not scoring at home all season. He's scored in the Champions League a few times. That's just one of those random stats that just confuse me. But
then when people bring up stats like this, so that will be like going through Twitter and things like that. So he'll see that, or somebody will see something like that, send it to him. So then subconsciously he's like, I got to score them.
Yeah. It's his last chance to do it in the season. Let us know in the comments if you think Bobby is going to finally break his Anfield duck for the 1920 season. Jim says 3-1 if the pre-lockdown Liverpool turn up, 2-2 if the post-lockdown Liverpool turn up. Oh, sorry, he thinks 2-2 if the post-lockdown Liverpool turn up. I'd have to agree. I really, 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 really want us to win this game. Like Amy said right at the top of the show, we can't lose at home and then win a trophy. It just really takes the edge off of the whole night. Jim says he would not start Firmino up top. He'd have a 4-2-3-1 with Firmino in the attacking midfielder role. Adrian says, what's good? How are you, sir? Good to have you on the show. He says, let Chelsea win so United miss the Champions League.
Yes.
Ooh. I mean, I personally, if it does mean that United get into the Champions League and we win, actually, do you know what? I haven't even thought about this conundrum. Thanks for bringing it up, Adrian. Amy, if Liverpool let you win, as this guy here says, and United miss the Champions League, it would be, I mean, it would obviously be an L for Liverpool because we've lost, but I wouldn't be too mad at seeing United in the Europa League.
I really despise Man United, and I know that Liverpool do as well. So
great success.
I think it would be a win-win. And also, you know, Chelsea. It was the Chelsea game that you guys got it. So you know, we like sort of help people get the title. Obviously, you guys were always going to get it, but I'm just glad that it was like Chelsea that had a little bit of input there for you. So it's actually ironic that now we're facing you the night that you actually pick up the trophy. So it's like, yeah, I want you guys to win, to have, you know, that whole experience of lifting up the trophy. You've just won, but at the same time, I really need us to get Champions League. So I am a little bit torn, but I'm just going to see what happens. But I think there probably will be 3 goals, but I don't know which side is going to score those or concede those. But yeah, probably like 3-1, 3-2.
Okay, well, Jim here says he could not let Chelsea win, even if it meant United got in the Champions League. I mean, listen, everyone on this channel does not want to see Man United in the Champions League next season. That's a fact. But if that means that we have to lose a game, and let's not forget, this would be our 4th loss of the season if we did lose this game. It'd be our only loss of the season at Anfield, which would ruin the record. But United didn't get Champions League. I mean, sorry, United didn't get Champions League if Chelsea win. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, listen, I want my team to win every game. There's obviously permutations that happen outside of results, outside of your team that you can't control. But Stephen says he'd be happy with the Manx. I'd be happy with that. The Manx do my head in. They're a bunch of entitled, spoilt brats.
Oh my God. Yesterday, my Twitter was going into meltdown because I like made a comment about like De Gea and whatever. And like it just went mad on my mentions. I was like, oh my God.
What did you say about De Gea then? Let's have a
well, no, I just said, like, I swear people used to say he was, like, the best goalie in the world. Like, where are they now? And everyone was like, obviously he was the best goalie, but he's not now. Doesn't take a genius to work that out. It's like, all right, calm down. And I was just like, oh, nibble. And then, of course, I had to drop in the fact that De Gea hasn't kept a clean sheet at Camp Nou, but I had. So I was like, yeah, okay. Is he actually a better goalie than me? Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, that's, again, we've spoken about this on the show, the network of AGT, which we can put in the description of this video. We speak in depth about your career and stuff like that. And we do
I wouldn't exactly call like a goalie a career. That was like,
well, your career from start to finish, whatever that may be. And in that career, you have played at the new camp for Chelsea. Was it like an influencer day at the new camp?
Yeah, it was one of those like celeb influencer sort of matches and fans and stuff. It was,
and you kept a clean sheet in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think the last time I can remember someone else.
I just said winning game was 9-0.
Well,
against Barcelona. But the thing is, unlike the real Chelsea, I had like a great defense, so I was quite lucky.
Yeah, I mean, to keep a clean sheet at the new camp is something goalkeepers dream of.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't. We lost 3-0 there. We've won there in this lifetime against Barca. If you remember, Dirk Kuyt and Jonani Risa scored, and he did the famous golf club celebration. So that was a great memory. Yeah. I mean, guys, before we head off, let us know if you've got any last-minute questions for Amy in the comments. We can definitely look at taking some more questions. But in terms of this season, Amy, at the start of the season, you said you would have taken mid-table. At the start of the season, if someone offered us the league, but no 100 points, no treble, I would have, of course, taken that. Sum up for me, if you can, just the season in general. We've obviously been cruelly interrupted by COVID, but from start to finish, it's been
hard to remember like the start of the season. Sorry, say that again.
It's been an indifferent season.
It has. It's been a really weird one. So going into the start of the season, I think like we had a good run of games, and it was like, oh wow, okay, Frank's back, we're doing this, it's great. Obviously there was a few shoddy games here and there, but it's like, you know what, we all need to get behind Frank because he's one of our own. He's doing amazing things, and he was bringing in all of the youth. Obviously we had the transfer ban, so I was just really, really pleased that finally our youngsters were going to be given a chance. And for me personally, like, I feel it's worked out, and I'm actually very happy about it. I think we are doing some good business, but as I said, like, we're very heavy on the midfielders now, and I would like to see a decent defender come in, or, you know, Kepa pull his sleeves up or something would be great. But I just think with the potential 3 signings that we're doing, I just think next season is going to be so good for us, but we definitely need to work on that defence for it to be a decent season.
Absolutely. Stephen here says, can I just say Chelsea are definitely going to be up there challenging next season. I just saw the news about Havertz. That looks like it's guaranteed now, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's another dagger through the heart for Liverpool, because we are also linked with Havertz. Chelsea seem to be getting our sloppy seconds at the minute.
We have a habit of getting in there and sweeping in on deals. And
Liverpool, we were supposed to get Willian back in the day, and then he was going to go Tottenham. Then it was Chelsea.
Yeah, well, we got him from the medical, didn't we?
Exactly.
Cheers, thanks to his medical. Love that.
Jim says, can Amy come in for Butterfingers Adrian?
Trust me, it was a fluke. You don't want me. I'm only 5'2" as well, guys. So
yeah, Liverpool keepers, we need at least 6'1", I'd say. I mean, I was at that game that Jim is referring to, the Atletico Madrid quarter-final. I think it was the last 16, actually. And Adrian was a joke in that game. He really did throw it away for us. He also says, what are your thoughts on Gerrard winning silverware with Rangers against the likes of Lyon, Nice, etc.? Reckon he'll come good as a manager after a promising start. I think Jim is referring to the fact that Rangers are still in the Europa League, so there is a potential chance for silverware there for them. I mean, listen, Gerrard winning trophies, whoever it's for, I'll be happy for him. Do I reckon he'll come good as a manager after a promising start? Tough one to say.
Right things up there.
Yeah, he's doing. I mean, it's unfortunate for him that the other big team in the league is Celtic, because they've won it 9 years in a row. He's really got a struggle up there in terms of flipping the coin upside down and putting the blue all over that city. If I personally would choose for Gerrard to manage a club up there, it would be Celtic. There's obviously a big relationship between Celtic and Liverpool. Rangers I'm not too fond of, but I'm also a big Steven Gerrard fan. So does that mean that I want him to come in and replace Klopp? No. I think
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, the best man to replace Klopp in 2024, 2025 when he goes will be the best man available. And if that is Gerrard, which it might not be, so be it. I think, you know, you've got to look at managers to manage Liverpool without their name. And I think just because he is called Steven Gerrard does not mean that he walks into the job. However, listen, if he does progress incredibly, then he's in a available position at the time, then yeah, let's do it. But there's a lot of variables depending on it. He's saying, no, he's just won a pre-season cup against the French teams. Well, I mean, a pre-season cup, not really major silverware, but of course they are still in the Europa League, I think. In terms of silverware, Amy, you're in the FA Cup final now against Arsenal after a great win against the United team yesterday. Tell me about the final, what your predictions are for it.
So I did actually say 2 weeks ago that I predicted that it was going to be an Arsenal-Chelsea final again. And obviously the last time that we faced Arsenal in the FA Cup, Arsenal won it. So I feel like we're going to go into this needing to prove a point. And also the boys are going to want to get some silverware for Frank. Do you know what I mean? It's his first season and hopefully we're going to get Champions League. So I just feel like they're going to want to do it for Frank. And why would you're not going to let him down, are you? So I think we're going to go into it full pelt. Arsenal, you know,
listen,
they're not always consistent, are they? I mean, I know that Chelsea aren't either. I'm not trying to say that they are, but
I just
feel like we're going to do it.
I mean, I've got a lot of Arsenal mates across Arsenal Fan TV, and they will tell you that they are looking for revenge after that Baku final with Europa League last year. I think they won
that's true.
4-1.
That's true. I didn't think of that.
4-1. Arsenal, of course, have beaten Man City and Liverpool in the last week, which I just never thought I would ever say, especially this season.
Okay, I'm starting to sweat now.
Yeah, so looking forward to that game. I think it's August the 1st. Both teams will be going into it after some big
we're both going to be up for it. So that, there's revenge on both sides. So it's going to definitely be an interesting one. I just hope that we do it, because I would love Frank to pick up the FA Cup in his first season as manager.
Yeah, it'd be a good achievement. I think Chelsea and Arsenal and City have probably run away with the FA Cup for way too many years for Liverpool's liking. We've only won it 7 times, I think. Arsenal are looking for their 14th time, and Chelsea have obviously done really well since the year, I'd say, 96 onwards in the FA Cup. Jim here says, I'd take Chelsea winning the final over Arsenal. Arsenal fans on Twitter, they've been acting like it's 2003 recently. They need the humbling. Do you know what? It's funny, because that's what everyone used to say about Liverpool. Oh, look at them talking about Istanbul. They haven't won the league for so long. Arsenal are becoming the old Liverpool in terms of going on about history. Troops admitted it the other day. It's like the Discovery Channel on AFTV recently. Stephen says, agreed, Alex, Liverpool could decide to take the Chelsea route like they've done with Lampard. I think it's a little bit different with Chelsea. I think Sarri was always going to leave after a year. And I think with Lampard, obviously, he'd just been at Derby. He was starting a big project there. But I think with Lampard, he probably got offered the job. And he probably thought, I don't know if I'm going to get offered this again. The timing might not be 100% right. There's transfer bans. There's a big job to do at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But am I going to get this chance again? I feel like he almost had to say yes to that proposition.
So I actually knew that. I probably shouldn't even say this, to be honest. But so when I was going over to play for Chelsea, I knew then that Frank was getting the job.
Okay.
And then I came back from there, and then I went to this thing with Harry Redknapp, and I got chatting to him, and he was like, "Are you a betting girl, Amy?" And I was like, "I am actually." And he goes, "You want to put a couple of quid down on my Frank going to Chelsea then?" And I was like, okay. And I didn't. And I really wish I did, because I had it straight from the horse's mouth at Chelsea, and then I had it straight from Harry, and I was like, oh.
I love that from Harry.
Yeah, it was like, a couple of quid on it.
That is unbelievable. I love Harry Redknapp, to be fair. I think what he's done with the Harry's Heroes and all that stuff on TV has been brilliant. Great to watch. Let's talk just finally, Amy, about a crucial role you had to play in a young, sick kid getting his dream and getting a personal message from Jurgen Klopp as well. That's an amazing thing to say you're a part of.
Yeah, so this charity came to me because I don't know if anybody else knows, but during lockdown, one of my friends came to me because his nephew was missing his birthday party. It's just when lockdown happened, so we had to cancel his 6th birthday party. And he was a big Derby County fan. So I asked some of the lads at Derby, obviously because there's that Chelsea link and whatever. Yeah. So I asked them to do a video, and I only expected like 1 or 2 of them to do it, and loads of them done it. So I made a video. So this charity had seen that I'd done that, and basically they were like, there's this boy, William, he's really sick.
William, that was his name.
Yeah, he's got terminal cancer. He's a really big Liverpool fan. Do you know any Liverpool players? And I was like, well, I could try and pull a few strings and whatever. And they were like, we really want to get a message from Klopp to him. So I was asking some of my contacts and whatever. And so then it wasn't actually my contact that got Klopp in the end. It was someone else. I think it was one of the pundits or something. But yeah, so he did one, and Henderson did one. There was I think about 5 players in total that did it. So yeah, he was really pleased about that. And then Klopp actually said in it, it's like, we're going to go out on Sunday, like when it was the first game back after lockdown. He's like, we're going to go into this, and like, we'll be thinking of you when we go out on the pitch and all of this stuff. He's like, we're going to basically try our hardest to win the title for you. He's like, not just you, like everyone, like, you know how like Klopp backtracks and whatever. But so yeah, I wrote an article about that for the Mirror, and I just sort of like ran with Klopp saying that he was going to win the title for William, and of course you have won it. So yeah, William's very happy. I think he's actually going on holiday to Devon with his family now, so they're ticking through the wish list. So yeah, that's fantastic.
No, great work.
Very happy.
Great work, Amy. I think everyone here would agree that we send all of our best wishes to hit the kid as well, and hope he enjoys his holiday. And that message from Jurgen Klopp, that was emotional. I remember seeing it at the time. So amazing work.
I was crying watching it. I was like, oh my God.
Honestly, it's a tearjerker. Yeah. Alex here says the only reason Liverpool will draw or win is because of the Jurgen Klopp message to his players. I mean, in a game like this, Klopp doesn't need to say much apart from, look, we're going to have a party in about 2 hours. Just make sure you get the job done so we can all have a nice time. Because trust me, if we lose that, Klopp's not going to be drinking as many beers as he would if we won. Yeah. Jim says Klopp is the most likable manager in the world, not a bad bone in his body. Completely agree after you see videos like that, especially.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
So rounding up then, Amy reckons it's going to be a 3-2 win to Liverpool. I'm actually going for a 3-1 win. I think there will be chances galore in this game. But I do think just because of the occasion alone, Amy, we're going to pull through. I'm actually going to be around the stadium on Wednesday. So if anyone here is watching that is going to also be around the stadium, I'd love to speak to you. I'm going to take a cameraman with me and we're going to do something. Don't forget as well, the movie that we filmed 2-3 weeks ago in Liverpool, It Means Everything, will be finally dropping on Wednesday as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Diego, you always jump in right at the last minute. Redemption for either side winning the FA Cup final. Great live stream. Hit the likes and subs at Kop TV and that Sports Spice. Love it. Diego's always locked in. Big Crystal Palace fan, weirdly enough, but he loves the Kop TV. So good lad. The stage looks boss, and I know Alisson promised a duet with Jamie Webster. That I am looking forward to very much. Liverpool 3, Chelsea 2 because of how good Chelsea can be. So Amy's going for a Liverpool win. So am I. Maybe that's because she's on the Liverpool channel, but we'll see. Thanks so much for your time, Amy. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. Quickly, just let us know where we can find you on social media.
So all of my social media is at that Sports Spice. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Absolutely. And just quickly, Didier, my dog, he's been doing some predictions. He's only done 3 so far, but he's got all of them right. So I am going to be doing a prediction with him to see who's going to win this. So
everyone get to Amy's page when she drops this Didier prediction. It was very similar to, was it the 2010 World Cup where there was an octopus that predicted like every single game?
I kind of nicked it from that,
Yeah. No, but big up to Didier, obviously named after Didier Drogba.
Who signed for us in 2004 on this day.
Well, a big day for Chelsea fans. Not so much for Liverpool fans, as he gave us a few nightmares along the way. As he did play so well against us on so many times. But listen, Amy, massive thanks for coming on for this match preview. Liverpool versus Chelsea. I'll see you very soon.
Thanks for having me.